Absolutely. Half a container of KY. I am great.
Half?
Only half.
It's probably wise. It's one of those the 55-gallon drums.
You're right.
Does that mean you're half-assing it, Zero?
Yes, I am half-assing it.
Never be afraid to go full ass.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Church of Chonkwij podcast. My name is Squit, my Squitting Squit, and I'm joined tonight by Mountain Squid Gaming, OmegaConstruct, and Punlord Squit Me. And it's been another week in gaming. It's been a tragic week in gaming in some circumstances. We can start off just immediately jumping into the fire with CLG to reportedly fold its esports brand and sell its franchise slots. This is Counterlogic Gaming that did, what, League of Legends?
Well, they were, that was their main game, I believe. But I feel like many, gaming teams, they did other games, but I'm not certain. But yeah, they were most known for their league play in LCS.
Right. Yeah, CLG is huge. It is a huge brand. It's an enormous brand. And what I got from this article, so whatever. CLG is closing its doors as an esports organization, and it's selling off all its esports teams, particularly its league roster, according to this. And CLG will keep its 2023 league team in place. And competing for the time being, but yeah, they're closing it down, and I think CLG is being bought by TSM. Trying to fill out LSD, sorry, is TM, how it could be looking to move out sort of LSS friends to CM. What is this? No, yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah. I read this earlier, and I've obviously committed exactly none of it to memory. But yes, CLG is closing their esports team, and I didn't realize they're based out of New York. Madison Square Garden Company owns CLG.
Yeah, that's one of the things that really caught me off guard is, like, that's definitely a company that could afford to keep going. And, makes you wonder about the health of esports. If League is still one of the more popular esports games out there, to my understanding.
Yep, the most popular. Yeah, the Steam numbers of it alone for the number of people that are just playing it regularly, and then on top of that, the competitions. Yeah, they've drawn a lot of viewers. I thought, but the most interesting part about this article is the update from April 4th that said. MSG Sports released a quote saying, quote, while changes like this are always difficult, we are streamlining CLG's operations to better position the company for long-term success and are also currently exploring strategic alternatives for the business. So that means this is a division that is running in the red. They're no longer making money off of this. Streamlining means we're trimming fat, and this is not making us money. So yeah, I'm not sure what it is. If it's advertisers pulling out, or that's got to be it. If I had to guess one thing, I would say ad revenue. Yeah, the Jesse Jackson method of advertising. But yeah,
I honestly find it kind of surprising when you see like how simultaneously, like, esports seems to get huge numbers when the big events happen and whatnot, but there's also like no money being made, and I don't know what it means for like the future of esports as a sport, as an actual competitive thing,
Right. But yeah, esports, I don't know, I don't really pay too much attention to it anymore. That should say something. But back in the day, I gotta say, like 2010 to 2013, I was way into watching StarCraft competitions or StarCraft tournaments.
Too? Yeah, man. WCS.
Yeah. That
was
was
great.
legit entertaining for me because that was just people were, I don't like football, I don't like sport ball, just generally speaking, but I really liked watching two nerds sitting in front of computers whooping each other's asses in StarCraft. That's where the real sport's at.
You go back probably like at this point only about 5 years really, and WCS was still huge. Until
COVID, and then maybe a year or two before COVID. But yeah, it was.
Yeah, WCS
recently.
StarCraft 2 did start dying off before COVID. Like its popularity dive was, I think, organic. The game just ran its course. Like how many year after years can you have the same? The game wasn't evolving anymore. Blizzard came out and said they're not doing any more. They're not doing any more updates. No more balances. No more rebalances or patches or stuff like that. Because like when a game is competitive like that, they'll shift things up just to keep competition interesting, not necessarily to like quote unquote fix anything broken in balance. Literally just to keep competition interesting, keep it from being stale. And as soon as Blizzard, that was really the death like the final nail in the coffin, in my opinion. Blizzard said, like, from here on out, we'll release hot fixes if anything ends up being broken, but we're done developing StarCraft. That's what killed it, in my opinion.
Yeah, and as you see, there are plenty of interesting strategies that you can watch players go at each other in PvP and StarCraft. But again, after a while, it's you don't have, like in sport ball, you have a whole build up to a season. You have new players coming in, you have old players leaving. There's a whole ceremony around it, and all of it is highly visible. Esports didn't really have that at least that was easily accessible or easily seen by me when I was watching all that shit, because I did pay attention to teams. There were certain players that were just a hoot and a half to watch. But yeah, once, like, just to pull a really old name out, once a guy like Idra just sort of left, nobody really stepped in to make up for the meme sauce that he took with him. So yeah, the player base was not terribly, it wasn't hyped up, it wasn't psyched like it is in sport ball, and the game remained the same largely for year after year after year after the gimmicks were done, as you say. The updates, gimmicks,
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's a big one. So that's a big one, down the tube. And because I reminded myself of it, hello, future Leetness. Hope you're having a nice day at work.
Yes. Hope it's a great day, Leetness.
It's interesting. I recently, like a week ago, did some work for a friend, did some research on the NBA 2K League. Now, this is an interesting esports league. NBA 2K, the basketball game. That esports league is actually ran by the NBA. And each of the teams in the esports league are affiliated with an actual NBA team. And they are like dumping money into it, and they are holding tons of competitions and like they are really going hard at making this a thing. Their YouTube videos have like triple-digit views.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Now,
ouch.
I mean, sure, I get like, these are live. Most people are going to be watching live, but still, like, they had like recap shows and like talk show type stuff where they break down stuff, the day before, like leading into it, and those had hardly any views, and it's just kind of crazy seeing all the money that a company like the NBA, massive company, is putting into it. But then you got to realize, like, the NBA, this is probably a drop in the bucket compared to the money that they're dealing with. So the NBA getting involved with an esports league is instantly the most well-funded esports league on the face of the
earth. Yeah.
So it's really interesting. And when you talk about, like, and like you said, you don't like sports, but I am a sports fan, and I pay attention to some of the dynamics going on in the world. And the NBA has more than any other sport fully embraced the internet and social media, and like in an era where the NFL, Major League Baseball, UFC are sending takedown notices and like copyright claiming anything that anybody puts up. NBA is like, make everything into a GIF. Go ahead, use them on Twitter. Fucking do it. Whatever you want, go for it. Like that's why there's so many NBA GIFs, and it's honestly great. And I see this as an extension of that. This is because one thing that I think the NBA is right about on this is that TV is dying, if not already dead. And all sports live and die on TV deals. But the NBA is going all in on getting kids online, like getting attention from young people, embracing the way that they interact with content. And by sponsoring this league, that is getting tons of kids who are gamers, turning them into basketball fans. And so it's interesting to see where to the NBA. I doubt NBA 2KL is like they have dreams of turning a profit on it. Like I don't think for a second they actually expect to turn this into a big moneymaker. It's advertising. It's community outreach. It's brand recognition. It's getting out there. I think it's smart, and it's funny that there's still. I mean, it's still very young. Let me also make that clear. Like it's a few years old at this point, so them not getting a ton of views right now. Again, they've got the bankroll to actually let it grow over time when a lot of other ventures in the space are far more interested in, or not even interested, but just it's far more required that they try to turn a profit real quick. So it's an interesting dynamic.
I was looking up other organizations, and so a while ago, many podcasts ago, we talked about. I think we were actually talking about Madden NFL with EA Sports and some unhappy divorce that happened there where EA was just like, yeah, we're going to keep on making these games, but we're no longer partnered with the NFL. And I was just like, well, yeah, there are a lot of games that are partnered with real organizations in the world. What about FIFA? And so I just Googled, does FIFA have an esports league? Apparently, the open qualifying format for the FIFA E World Cup League allows millions of people to compete in the initial online stages, which has resulted in the FIWC being recognized as the largest online esports game by Guinness World Records. So, yeah, I guess this is a thing that happens.
Say that again?
The FIWC, I don't know what that is. Sorry, the FIFA E. It's called FIFA lowercase E World Cup. Okay. So there is a FIFA electronic FIFA whatever the fuck World Cup that has an initial opening qualifying round where millions of people compete in the initial stages, and then everything gets bracketed off with people competing against each other. I have no idea.
That's actually how the NBA 2K League works. When I was doing the research, I learned a whole lot about it. They have every year, if you basically have to score like a certain amount of wins in online play to be eligible to apply, and then you can put in your application, and they effectively hold tryouts, and then there's a draft. Like sports leagues do. So if you want to play in NBA 2K League, if you want to be a professional NBA 2K player, you get drafted to a team. You don't go like apply. Oh, I want to go play for this team. No, you get drafted, and I think that's fucking super cool. So yeah, it's actually really interesting the way they have their whole thing structured, and it's
fucking hell, yeah.
It's pretty damn cool the way that they are treating esports like real sports, not just PvP video games. No, this is, in my opinion, this is the first time I'm seeing it where it really deserves the title of esport versus professional video games, because like they're drafted, they are, you know, they can get traded, they can get picked up by other teams. Like it's nuts. It's really
So
cool.
yeah, the FIWC actually stands for the FIFA Interactive World Cup, and it's been going on since 2004. December 19th, 2004, they've been doing this. This is fucking nuts. I had no idea this was a thing. And they host it in different cities across the world, and they have actual, like, winners, actual players who won and their scores. This is all on Wikipedia. This is crazy. So, and it works exactly how you say. Huh. Well, I learned something new about esports.
But yeah,
How
I
about
think it's
that?
pretty cool.
I wonder if they have leagues for Path of Exile. Linus should, if they have leagues for Path of Exile, Linus, you and Fluffy should go, and you should sign up, you should do tryouts, and you should try hard and win, and while you're doing it, you definitely should not drink Monster Energy drink, because those cunts are going after an indie dev studio. One lawsuit in a long string of lawsuits launched by Monster Energy, because they don't like it when gamers use the word monster in the titles of their game. This was fucking hilarious.
Fucking stupid.
Yeah,
I read
outrageous.
this article and I pissed myself laughing because I don't think they have a patent or a coin on that name. Is that correct?
I don't know, in the United States, I'm not entirely certain on the legality, but I didn't think that it was possible to copyright one word in the English
is.
language.
It's not copyright; it's trademark.
Or sorry, trademark, okay.
You're not. There's a lot of people get confused and conflate the two, and it's fucking crazy, weird, murky law in a lot of ways. But basically, the way that it works is Rockstar has a right to the word, or sorry, Monster has a right to the word monster in the context of beverages. So the rule with trademarking is you can have your trademark, and it protects anything that could be reasonably confused with your product. So a video game with Monster in the title is not going to be confused with Monster Energy drink. Nobody is going to accidentally buy a video game when they meant to buy a can of Monster. That's what trademark is supposed to protect. So, yes, fuck Monster Energy.
In typical Vaspan Dustor humor, the author of this article writes, let's see, Monster claimed that the trademark was too similar and would confuse users. Of course, we wouldn't want someone to eat a game disc or pour drink into their console out of confusion. Haha.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. This is a frivolous lawsuit. If I were a judge, I would be really angry to see this across my docket.
But here's the thing: Monster's been doing this over and over. This isn't a new behavior out of them.
No, it is not. And actually, they to give you the audience an idea of how the balls on Monster Energy drink, they went after Ubisoft for a game called Gods and Monsters. All right, it was Ubisoft settled and changed the name to Immortals: Phoenix Rising. But yeah, they went after fucking Ubisoft. That's a AAA company with its own dedicated legal department.
And Ubisoft fucking caved.
Yeah, and Ubisoft caved.
And that's what's craziest to me is that like they actually have made this shit like work for them. And
it's because Ubisoft is nothing but a bunch of surrender monkeys. They're awful and yeah, okay. Sorry.
Kirby's in chat. He said, when I read this, I went, this? Again? Yeah. Yeah, for real.
Thank you, Kirby.
This is what happens when you have a massive company who can throw a ton of money into their legal team. And yes, you're right. It's totally a frivolous lawsuit. But do you think some indie game developer is going to be able to defend themselves in court against Monster Energy? No. And this is a very, very common tactic by big legal teams to just force people to give up simply because of the incredible expense and difficulty of, mounting a fucking legal case.
So to Glowstick Entertainment's credit, that is the indie dev studio that's being picked on right now by Monster, they have decided to fight this case rather than give in to Monster Energy's demands. And they published what Monster Energy demanded if Glowstick Entertainment goes forward and keeps on naming their game. Dark Deception is the name of the game, and the name of this chapter is called Monsters and Mortals. So what they said, what Monster Energy said was they want, if Glowstick chooses to keep the name, then they can never make another game using monsters in the title. Just blanket statement. They can never use the colors green and white in a logo. If they make a future game that has a logo that has the colors green and white, unacceptable. They can't use M's. Let's see. Also forces us to agree never to use a green and white logo on a black background for any games we ever make. Any logo that has Monster's style font will be deemed confusingly similar to Monster Energy's logo. Demands we never use a style font in future games. It could demand that we change the Dark Deception logo as well, and it can be applied broadly. So yeah, this is the kind of horseshit that Glowstick is going to be fighting in court. But they have decided to try and fight the case. How far they get is anyone's guess, but I pulled it up on Steam. This is the game Monsters and Mortals that we're talking about, and you can see in one of these. Oh, you can see to the right of the screen. Yes, the word monsters has a crazy jagged M, which looks exactly nothing like the M on Monster Energy drink. But Monster Energy drink is trying to say that, oh, it looks too similar. And it's also monsters. So, yeah, this was just silly.
This is more of that stupid bullshit like with what happened with Red Bull and why they had to add 2 extra I's to their slogan. It's just dumb bullshit. It's just dumb bullshit.
The funniest thing to me is that you have this energy drink company fucking with game dev studios. Meanwhile, there's Rockstar Energy and the fucking company Rockstar.
I was gonna bring that up.
They get along just fucking fine.
Do you think that at one point
they have almost the same logo?
Do you think that at one point Rockstar Energy Drink was like, hey, we should really go after Rockstar, the Rockstar platform for like copyright infringement? They took one look at Rockstar's legal department and were just like, nope. Not because Rockstar has so much invested into their legal department, but because their legal department is staffed by the biggest cunts that humanity has to offer. Rockstar is such a fucking troll company. They are such assholes to goddamn everybody that usually, for me at least, it's hilarious. Because I'm not the target of their ire ever. I just get to sit back and watch it. But holy hell, Rockstar, Take-Two, all that, the whole fucking tree branch of company are staffed by massive cunts. In case anybody was wondering.
But somehow they can get along.
Somehow they can do it. Rockstar Energy. I think I still have one.
Feel.
Yeah, really. I have an unopened can of energy drink that has 2 geckos 69ing on it. I can't make out the title right now.
Oh my god, that's a Sobe.
Yeah, I was about to say, that's Sobe.
Oh, it is Sobe, yeah.
Oh.
It is Sobe, yeah.
Oh my god, crack that bitch open and drink that and taste the nostalgia.
I have an unopened Sobe can from 2005 that's been sitting on a shelf. I'm surprised it hasn't exploded.
Okay, wait, a Sobe can?
Yeah, it's a can.
Yeah,
my god, that's even
canned.
That's even more rare.
Yeah, the Sobe energy drinks came in cans, but their regular beverages were
in the glass bottles.
Normal bottle. Well, now they're plastic bottles and they suck.
Yeah, I will tell you what. There was nothing like playing 18 holes at the local golf course, stopping in between the 9th and 10th hole. Shut up. Shut up. Stopping between the ninth and 10th hole. Yes. And getting a hot dog and a Sobe in a glass bottle. Those Sobe energy or those Sobe drinks were the best.
Oh yeah, Silas is in chat. What's up, Silas?
What's up, Silas?
Good old Sobe. Yeah, you're absolutely fucking right. Oh. Oh, Silas is toasted. Lovely.
Nice.
Lightly.
Lightly or severely?
I gotta figure out.
Hopefully it's severely.
I gotta figure out how to turn fucking auto shield off. Alright, yeah, fuck that. Swear away, Silas. Because fucking Twitch is pinging me. Silas said bullshit, and it wanted me to approve his message. It's like, this is an adult podcast. You can say bullshit. You can start dropping racial slurs in chat. I'm not gonna give a shit. I mean, Twitch will probably ban you, but, you know, whatever. Fucking hell. Alright. So yeah, that's Monster Energy drink bullshit, which was just that was kind of funny. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't know about their previous trademark trolling, so when I saw that pissed me off. I don't drink their shit, so
yeah, me neither.
Yeah, it's an easy boycott for me.
Yeah, super easy for me.
When in that article it said, yeah, they wanted this company to never use a logo that used green or white on a black background. I know from previous experience just working with companies, you can register a color, a specific hex code for a color, and that can be recognized as your corporate color, and other businesses are not allowed to use that. It's a difficult process to go through, but it's totally doable. You can't just say green or white. You have to provide a shade. You have to provide coordinates on a color spectrum. You can't just say green, white, and black. So yeah, shit like that must be trolling. Honestly, yeah, I can't rationalize that at all. Anyway, Omega is playing Death Stranding right now, and funny enough, there is Monster Energy drink featured in Death Stranding.
Is there?
Yes, actually.
There is. So yeah. That was one of the points of this article, is that, yeah, Monster Energy is so closely tied to gaming, and yet they really apparently don't like gamers or game studios. But Hideko Kojima is fine. He can do no wrong. Plus, it's Norman Reedus. Everyone loves Norman Reedus.
Yeah, this is an interesting game. It's got some product placement, which is odd. It's got a couple very well-known and famous actors.
Yes.
Norman Reedus and Mads Mikkelsen. Whatever the fuck his weird Finnish, whatever Nordic name is.
Half of our audience is going to know him as the villain from James Bond's Casino Royale, the one with Daniel Day-Lewis, whatever the fuck, Daniel Craig. And the other half of the audience is going to know him as Hannibal Lecter on the TV show Hannibal.
Yes.
Those are the two things I think he's most famous for. But he also was the guy who stepped in to play Grindelwald in the third Fantastic Beasts movie because Johnny Depp was
Depp was busy telling people about Amber Heard shitting on his bed.
She pooped in the bed.
She pooped.
Yeah, Johnny Depp was too busy on trial in England making memes. So yeah. But anyway. Are you finding okay, wait, no, we'll get into that later because I do want to ask you about Amber Turd. The last article before we get to some meat here is the consumer protection in the European Union. The European Commission has pretty much. Omega posted another article where he's just like, yeah, they're trying to make it sound like Nintendo volunteered to do this. They absolutely didn't. So the European Commission released an entire paper that you can go on, you can read about, or an entire article that you can go on and read about how controllers on the Nintendo Switch console are sort of wearing out, either because they are defective or because, it's just wear and tear. And there was no place in the European Union to get these things replaced. Sometimes even, for money or free if charged. And that was contributing to unnecessary electronic waste, which is a thing that the EU pays attention to. And so they have pretty much forced Nintendo into a position where now Nintendo's repair centers, irrespective of whether damage has been caused by a defect or by wear and tear, are going to repair or replace Nintendo Switch controllers. So good on the EU. This is the government actually fucking with a company in a good way, and it brings a smile to my face.
Yeah, it's just funny the way that they're like, we're doing this out of the goodness of our heart. We're so nice. And it's like, no, you guys were fucking strong-armed into doing this.
Yeah. The quotes. Quote, I am pleased that Nintendo voluntarily took the steps to address concerns about the compliance with EU consumer law, addressing the early obstinacy of certain controllers and offering lifelong right to free repair for this specific issue. So yeah, the European Union is not trying to rub it in Nintendo's face, but yeah, that the volunteer part is disingenuous. It was forced volunteering.
You'll do it.
Yes, thank you, and also you'll do it. Fucking Aqua Teen references work for everything. Oh, man. EU had the drop on the Nintendo Ninja legal team. Yes, they did. Meanwhile, I think Nintendo is going after somebody who leaked one of the Zelda games that crossed my Torrent Freak feed. So yeah, Nintendo is embroiled in another hunt for somebody that did something that they didn't like, and they are, as usual, being very loud about it.
A few moments later.
Yeah, there we go. Alright. Sorry about that. That was an odd hiccup. Let's see if sources are still loading. Yeah, there we go. Alright, I got it back up. So anyway, to recap here, D&D 4... I think this is for D&D 1 specifically, right? Is removing half species from the player's handbook.
To be clear here, D&D 1 is the code name of the project for the update to D&D 5e. According to Wizards of the Coast, it is still D&D 5e. It is the rewritten, updated version. Everything is backwards compatible. Blah 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 blah. So that's the thing here. It's not in the new version of D&D. They are, in their perspective, they are updating 5th edition with these changes. So I just want to establish that as their philosophy. Meanwhile, everybody's like, guys, this is definitely D&D 6. Or at least 5.5.
Right. So... there are two. I'm going to give two perspectives on this. First of all is the perspective that I think a lot of the media is picking up, a lot of news articles are focusing on, which is, I think it was, who the fuck's the kid? Crawford. All right, I think it was a quote by Crawford that said, just elaborating on the decision to remove half species from the game, was that the concept is inherently racist and that they are, quote, not comfortable having that concept in the game. So he said that he's one of that's Jeremy Crawford, right? He's
basically the head, the lead, not Wizards, but he's the lead designer of D&D. He's like the guy who is making D&D.
Right. So that was the quote that was picked up, and so everybody, obviously, 9gag and 4chan and /poll world just like, oh my god, the woke culture hitting D&D and all the rest of that whatever. But it's like not really woke culture. In this concept, it's eliminating diversity for the sake of homogeneity.
Listen, I am as white as a ghost, but my first thought is like, half race people exist, like mixed race people exist. I had friends who identified growing up as, I am half black. I am half Asian. I am half Hispanic. Like, I know people in the real world who identify as half race and half race. So, like,
Right.
what's racist about that concept? Absolutely nothing. It's
Well,
you take
I
two races and
can.
then you kind of move their stats towards the middle of them and make a little hybrid, and that's a fucking half race. What's the problem?
See that? All right, you just said a lot to unpack with what you just said. I'll start with the what's racist about that. So the reason that the reason that's given, at least, and what I looked into it and I didn't realize, was that there are really only 2 half species in the player's handbook to begin with, and that's half elf and half orc. Masami, correct me if I'm wrong about any of this, but
Sound on
those
par so far.
those are the only 2 half races that are specified in the player's handbook that have instructions on how to build those characters. And the reason that those are in there at all to begin with is because D&D's source material is heavily influenced by Lord of the Rings. And Lord of the Rings had half elves and half orcs, and that was Tolkien is. I'm going out on a limb here, being like, yeah, Tolkien was definitely racist. I'm sorry. I love Lord of the Rings. I love all of his work, basically. But yeah, he was racist because everybody at the time was racist. He just wasn't, like standing up on a soapbox championing, whatever. So there is that, and I get that they're singling those 2 out, and they're like, well, that's stupid. We'll just take those out and we'll make it so that you can still mix, if in your background you want to be half elf and half human, you can still do that. If, you want to have a character using this new rule set, you can still do that. It's just that now that's not going to have special mechanics. That's the part of it that sort of bothers me. It's like, why did you choose to take these 2 out? Why didn't you just establish a general principle for how to combine 2 or maybe even 3 different heritages? Why not add rules like that so that, fine, you don't need a special chapter for half elves and half orcs. You just have one chapter that teaches your players, okay, so you want to have your mom was an elf and your dad was an orc. Here's how you can build your character, and here's how you can get some special stats off that. Instead of doing that, they've just taken out these 2 races, whatever you want to call them, half species, and they've made it so that when you combine your heritage, when you're building a player right now, you have to choose. Either you have the stat block for a human or the stat block for an elf. You have racial traits or whatever. It has to draw from one or the other, not both. No special combination, no anything like that. So that is a little bit of a slap in the face with a wet noodle to me. I'm not thrilled that they chose to go about it this way. But the other argument there was that it makes for a more balanced playing field because people are, not going to have unfair advantages if they're half orc and half human or whatever. That I'm not sure exactly how that would be possible. Maybe if you're a way better player at D&D than I am, which is pretty much everybody in this room, you could figure out how to take advantage of that, but I just don't see it. Yeah, so this is a decision. But there's a gameplay, there's an analytical decision for this, which is gameplay stats and like how to build characters and mechanics and all the rest of that. And that's the portion of this story that nobody is paying attention to. And then there's the, it's racist to have a half orc and half elf as their own special thing. And that's what everybody is focusing on. So I don't know. However you want to look at it, I think this was poorly done for one reason or another. Aw. What the hell is... Masami, what the hell is Lord of the Rings Tales of Middle-earth from Wizards of the Coast 2023? There's art here from something that I'm not familiar with, but they made Aragorn a black guy. I have no idea what the fuck this is.
I will be honest, I have no fucking clue either.
It's Aragorn and Eowyn. No, wait, what was the elf's name? Eowyn is from Rohan. Arwen is the elf that Aragorn falls in love with. Yeah, so it's Aragorn and Arwen, but Aragorn's the black guy. Oh, that's great. When are they gonna remake Lord of the Rings? Oh man. So yeah. This was a little I don't know, I just brought this up because this just, again, as I say, this wasn't really well done. Why? I mean, I get it. You want to take out those two things because they're the only half races that are singled out. But why not just establish a system of combining different backgrounds together instead of eliminating them altogether and making people choose? Do you take more after your dad or your mom? So, Masami, thoughts? Omega, thoughts? Zero, thoughts?
I think it's dumb. I think it's fucking stupid. And
Agreed.
for no other reason than, was this hurting anybody? Was it actually,
No.
can you prove to me with some sort of hard data that this was affecting anybody in any negative way? If you
I'm
can,
I'm sure there was
stand behind
one person who sent them a tweet. If I had to guess.
you know what I have to say to that one person? Look at you. You fucked up decades worth of D&D. You fucked it up. Good job. Are you happy with yourself? Are you sleeping better at night? I hope so, because you've literally ruined it for everybody else. Thank you. Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Chad, for being that person. You know how we always talk about being that guy at the D&D table? Yeah, this person, whoever it is that guy or that girl or that person.
Yeah, it's pretty awful.
Yeah.
When I saw this article, I flew into a fucking rage because it irritates me to no end. My first character with y'all was a half-elf rogue.
That's true.
Yeah.
I, on the other hand, am a raging racist, so I've only ever played, a full human?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, my first character was a half elf rogue. Actually, I play a lot of half elves. It's probably the only thing I consistently play because
I mean, there's like a lot of interesting storytelling to be had with, a character
who's diverse.
Well, I mean, and that faces like perhaps social difficulties or things like I don't know. It seems like there's room for storytelling there that they don't want for some. I don't know. Like it doesn't make sense to me, but that's what it feels like.
I mean,
yeah, they're focusing on how the half race comes about in the negative fashion, which I won't go into because we're all adults and we know what I'm alluding to, which is undoubtedly why this even happened in the first place. But as Doc so aptly pointed out, there are tons of people that are of mixed descents, and
you know who I'm going to be, or I would expect a D&D world to be far more racist to than a half orc? A full orc.
Right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So why is that a playable race now? Like, okay, yep, we've made full orc a playable race, but half orc, no, we because of racism, we don't want half orcs to exist, but full orcs, yeah, that's fine. Like, what's the logic there? That's what I don't even understand. Is like, it's a monstrous race. They're going to face adversity and racism and prejudice in a world. And if you and if a DM and their table wants to involve that kind of storytelling, great. If not, you can just totally ignore it, and none of this matters anyway. Like, it's a totally moot point anyway if you choose to ignore it. But I don't understand why this non-issue is even a fucking thing.
I might be able to help you out here. It's because I think that you are thinking about this too intelligently. You're diving in and trying to find an explanation where there is none, because this is even more stupid than I believe you're taking it for. It's so stupid because they're saying it's racist to have just a special page devoted to half orc and another special page devoted to half elf, and there aren't special pages devoted to every single other combination of race that you could have in the game.
Well, that sounds like a weakness in your game.
Yeah,
and
I think that's where this is coming from.
Just well, here's the thing: they've already totally redone character creation rules, right? Like now with custom backgrounds and origins, like you're no longer stuck with a +2 and a +1 and a certain stat. You can pick. You can do. There's all sorts of house rules with feats that you can have, or you can, the custom lineage. You get to pick a feat, and you get your backgrounds. Like at this point, dedicate a page or a page and a half in the new D&D 6.0, 5.51, whatever the fuck they're going to call it, to how to combine two lineages.
Exactly.
That's how
I opened up. Yeah.
It's not like they haven't done it before either. They did it back in 3.5. It wasn't core, but there was definitely a supplement or something that told you how to mix your species.
Well, and you know what they could do to actually make, it a little more sense? Make those rules and then, I don't know, include a half orc and a half elf as an example, maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
Here's something that nobody ever
before they thought of Dragonboard.
Right.
Here's something that I don't think anybody at Wizards of the Coast has thought of. Goliaths are a playable race. Those are the spawn of giants and humans. Explain it.
No, well, see, they've created their. This is where you actually get an interesting genetics, because they breed true. It's a crossbreed of two things that breeds true. So Goliaths were created by the crossbreeding of giants and humans, but now Goliaths, when they make babies, they make more Goliaths, not giants or humans.
But at some point in the history,
breeding race.
Right, but at some point of the history of whatever realm Goliaths originated from, there were either guys who really enjoyed crawling inside giant vagina and jacking off, or girls getting reamed out by giants. I'm sorry, Masami, I went there. I know, you said we were going to avoid that because we're all adults, but yeah.
You handled it.
So yeah, that the important part here is that at some point giants and humans had sex, and not exactly sure how that happened. I imagine it would be much easier for a giant female to give birth to a Goliath than for a female human to give birth to a Goliath. I think that would have been like the Family Guy situation where they show the picture of Lois after she gave birth to Chris.
That's like
he was ripped in twain.
It's like French bulldogs. They're so fucked up they can't breed. They can't give birth normally. So like literally every French bulldog is born by cesarean section.
God damn.
Because their heads are so fucking huge.
And this is why D&D is so special. It's because it leads everybody into the most interesting and educational conversations. Some of the most interesting conversations possibly people have ever had in their lives. I never knew how French bulldogs were born.
Yeah, there's other species too that are so bred into these fucking mutant shapes that
aren't donkeys sterile?
Yes.
Just to give a practical real world example, mules are sterile. Okay, mules, yeah.
And so are ligers. So,
but not Goliaths.
There are crossbred animals out there, but they are sterile. But yeah, the Goliaths are true breeding.
So what's gonna happen here, I predict, is either Wizards is going to put more thought into this, because obviously this got a lot of attention over the weekend, and they're either going to put more thought into this and maybe create a system, as Omega just arrived at and where I started off. Give us a fucking system, an official system to combine two, maybe more heritages. I guess just 2. I mean, if your mom was a half elf and your dad was a halfling, I don't know, what would you probably just,
Health
well,
gotta-
no, I mean, because you gotta do the half elf, and then you have to do halfling, right?
Well, this is
Whatever the-
D&D. You got to play with Punnett squares and roll the dice.
Okay, all right, I'm down for that. I
So you
fucking, yeah, I
You
love
got
that.
a half elf and a half dwarf, or whatever the halves are, and then you roll the dice and see which combinations are passed on phonetically.
That's great. I love it.
So this is where I will break in with today's dose of adult material. There was a extremely third party supplement in 3rd edition before 3.5. That half step there. For 3rd edition, it was a book called the Book of Erotic Fantasy, and what it
Oh my
was.
god, yes, I remember this book.
Okay. Yes.
I have never heard of it
It is-
before. Please describe it slowly, if possible.
Well, let me tell you, the magical items are exactly what you think you are. They had like prestige classes and normal classes that related to sex magic and other things, and divine sex and that sort of whatnot. But by far, most possibly, the useful table in the entire book was the what can crossbreed with what at what percentage.
Ah, helpful.
And it would tell you what was actually not possible. Like it would give you an A, or it would give you a this percentage, that sort of thing. It
No matter
literally
how
gives
much
you a chart.
No matter how many times you bang this demon chick and you're a human, she's not going to get pregnant. So just don't try. Or try.
No, that's how tieflings are born.
Oh,
Tiefling!
man. Wait, is that true?
Yeah, tieflings. Well,
Tieflings are humans that have been cursed, basically.
I mean, there are some who
Because they had sex with
basically
demons?
have, their ancestors made deals with demons and devils. There used to be something called a half demon or a half devil that was literally you are the product of the offspring of a full demon or devil and some poor schmuck of X race. So
Gotcha.
that used to be a
Okay.
thing, not a thing since 5e, 4 and 5e came along. But I
Yeah.
remember there was
So,
a very diverse selection of half things you could be in 3.5.
I'm just imagining now in my mind, like, Barry goes on an entire quest and he saves this celestial chick and she's so grateful. She's like, oh my goodness, you're so handsome and brave. I'll do anything for you. Barry's like, anything? She's like, anything. And then he just whips out a strap on. He's like, put this on and peg me. You said anything.
I could see this being a thing. Masami?
No, I actually had in a group that I ran for not terribly long, but I had this one dude who was the very stereotypical definition of the horny bard, right? Well, he was an elf, and he thought that the low birth rate of elves was gonna fucking help him. However, as we all know, the more people you sleep with, the higher your chances that the dice are gonna fuck you over. And he had like 3 kids before he even knew it.
Well, it makes you question, though, is elven low fertility rate due to low elven sperm count? Or is it due to, like, issues with timing of ovulation and stuff like that among elves? Because it could be that elves just ovulate like twice a year instead of every month like humans do, and that would explain away their low birth weight. But then you got a dude elf going out fucking shooting live ammo into every chick that he's laying.
Yeah. And one of the other charts, speaking of birth, was gestation. They did have a gestation chart for the various different species.
I thought elves went through.
Elves, fun fact, are like a year. So those poor elven women, that's all I gotta say.
I thought elves went through Ponfar, and that's how they made it.
No, sadly.
Well, all right, okay. You did make me very concerned right now because Barry hasn't thought about birth control at all.
Those are those secret rolls Masami makes every time. Oh no, Vodak. Oh God, Vodak.
No, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, well, Vodak could be in significant trouble. No, but Barry usually goes for the older ladies, so older human ladies. So I don't think. I mean, there is the two Vistani ladies from the beginning of the game. Uh-oh.
You have to get to be like fucking 50, 60 years old before your technical, menopause hits and that stuff shuts down. So
How old is Carmen?
not that old. She's
Shit.
like
Oh,
maybe
no.
late 30s,
Oh
early 40s.
no.
Wait, how old were their kids?
Not old. Not that old. I think they had one daughter who Barry was eyeing, and Masami's just like, yeah, she's 16, and Barry was like, well, later.
Yeah, the daughter was like 16 and the son was like 11, 12. I can't remember.
Yeah, okay. What about the glass? No, this podcast is just going to turn into me going over every
Barry's conquests.
Yeah, everyone.
Let me
That's
reassure you
Oh
is
my
that
God.
you
That is
know,
my video game idea. We're gonna call it Barry's Conquest.
Oh, God.
Masami, I need his stat sheet and everything. We're making
No.
a video game.
I will reassure you in this is that if you do not want children in character, we do not have to make that happen. That is entirely your agency at this point. They will not get pregnant.
There must be consequences for actions.
Yeah, see, now you got me thinking about, but seriously, in game, only, 3 weeks has gone by or something. We'll have been, by the time this campaign is over, we'll have been in Barovia for, a grand total of a month. So
That's actually a good point. There haven't even been any missed periods yet in Barry's,
right.
in Barry's case.
So the thing that I was thinking of, was, wouldn't it be funny if it had been like a 3, 4, 5 month campaign? On our way out of Barovia, we could have met those two, the two ladies that Barry spent the first night with, and they both have a baby bump, and
They're just like, Eldred, I'm late. What do you need to be?
Let me tell you, if I have any of those kinds of surprises in wait for you, it won't be as you exit Barovia because, frankly, those Vistani can leave anytime they want.
Oh yeah, the
It's gonna
Vistani.
come at the epilogue once if we do those that brief little arc where you guys go and deal with Valsatra's asshole of a brother.
Right.
It's going to be the epilogue to that because there's going to be a time jump between the end of Barovia and that. So it will be a little bit more impactful if it does happen.
Oh no.
Well,
Yeah.
it doesn't.
Oh no.
How much more impactful can it be than Barry walking up to these two ladies? Both of them have a baby bump, and they're like, "Oh, Eldred," and then we hear bum bum bum, and then yeah, end the campaign.
Oh.
Freeze frame on Eldred staring off into the distance with a blank expression.
Oh.
Yeah. Anyway. D&D. Nobody doesn't not love it.
But yeah, no, it was one of those things that definitely caused me a little bit of rage this weekend.
Yeah.
But then I was immediately, then Easter Sunday happened, and I was happy because I'm gonna be an uncle again.
Yay. Half elf?
Wait, hang on. This is my stepbrother's kid, so
Is a half
there's some type
halfling
of math there.
Is a half halfling technically a quarterling?
I mean, that would make sense.
I was gonna say
if I'm being honest,
quadling.
that's a hilarious derogatory term. You quadling. Shut up, you quadling.
God. Oh no, we just invented a new D&D racial slur.
Oh, it's fun. Yeah, you can call it, a quarterling, a quadling.
That's
Quadling,
pretty good.
yeah. Oh, shit. All right, and let's see. Last thing on the docket, Zero was super happy that Call of Duty Modern Warfare is going to ban XIM cheaters, Zim cheaters.
So, I have watched countless videos on these things because there are a bunch of people who have been accused of using these things. The Cronus and there was a couple of other ones. But the
You want to start off by what is Zim cheating?
so pretty much what it is, it's a device that goes in and fucks with the code of the game and can give a player who normally is complete dog water the ability to have zero recoil on their weapons. They move as if they are using mouse and keyboard when they're using a controller, and gives them auto aim.
But
And
this is a physical device that hooks
yes,
in. It's a pass through between a controller and a console.
yes, third party controller, console, controller, PC, whatever. So
Gotcha.
they Fortnite actually did away with this a long time ago. You get a message that pops up and says, "Hey, we've noticed that you're using third-party hardware. Continued use of this product will result in or could result in a potential ban. If you continue to use it, there is a very high likelihood that you're going to get banned." And the Fortnite did it first, and then it started becoming such a problem in Call of Duty, in Modern Warfare 2.0. They they did a update. I think it was this past week that has got it to where now the Call of Duty anti-cheat is noticing it. And you get the first warning, then you get a second warning, and then you get permanently banned. Bungie has stated that they are going to start doing it in Destiny, because it has become a major problem in Trials of Osiris and Iron Banner, the two major PvP events that occur weekly and monthly in Destiny. And it's gotten to a point now where people are just not engaging with those particular PvP events because it's nothing but cheaters. So these companies are finally starting to get wise to this third party hardware that is essentially making players who are absolute dog water seem good.
Right. As I say, this article makes mention that Epic may have been the first one to ban people using this particular cheat method, but apparently these physical devices are designed to be undetectable. So the manufacturers of these devices are figuring out new ways to trick games into not being able to detect them. So it looks like a back and forth, or the article calls it a cat and mouse game. And this is being played. This game is being played by, let's see, Ubisoft, EA, Epic Games, and now Activision. So yeah, this is apparently a thing. Usually, though, when something like this happens, when there's a physical device, somebody comes up with a reason, and it usually falls under infringement. Somebody comes up with a reason to sue the cheat maker. It's obviously a lot easier when the cheat maker is making a program that injects code or something like that, because then you can say, you're violating TOS, you're injecting code, you're altering the way the program is meant to operate. But this is an interesting one because it is the XIM Zim, however you say it, is a physical device. Yeah, it's a physical device that you actually plug your controller into, and then you plug the device into your console or your PC, as you said, Zero. So this is a weird one because it's not. It's altering input. It's not altering the game at all.
Oh no, it does physically alter the code in the game.
Well, how?
It
well,
reduces
then
the recoil of the guns.
But isn't that just? But okay, so wait, the recoil of the guns as they like fire in game, or the recoil as you feel it in the controller?
No, because you can't.
Gotcha.
No matter how much you adjust no matter how much you adjust and mod your weapons inside of, trust me, I've tried, and I've tried to go in and get like 100% stability with 0 recoil, and it's not possible. No matter how you mod the weapons in the game, it is not possible to have a 0 recoil weapon in a game. It's not possible.
Gotcha.
It physically goes in and you can adjust the level of recoil. Like if you've got a -12 recoil, you can use the Zim or the Cronus to adjust that up by 12 to where it matches 0. So no recoil at all. If it's a plus 12, you can take it down to 0.
Yeah, I read that as the device is altering the input and it's automatically compensating for you. So it's not actually changing anything game side. It's changing the input into the game reads, and it's compensating for your movement or whatever. But regardless, it doesn't. Cheating is cheating. It's cheating. And now, yeah. So Activision is now in this too, alongside Ubisoft and Epic. And apparently Destiny and Overwatch are both suffering from cheaters using these devices too.
Mm-hmm.
And
I'm surprised Overwatch will get it next. Because if Activision is catching it, they Call of Duty's anti-cheat is the same as Overwatch's anti-cheat. So it's just going to be copy and paste one to the other. So
that's funny. We have in the world of sports, we have steroids. In the worlds of competitive gaming, we have hardware.
Mm-hmm.
Why can't you just take steroids to make your thumb stronger? That's some big brain. Yeah, that's big brain shit right there.
Head on, apply directly to the forehead. Sorry.
That's appropriate.
Face palm, apply directly to the forehead.
Where's the fucking Picard meme? Yeah, exactly. Okay, and to go out this evening, Omega discovered an interesting patch note which led to the discovery of a game, and now Sons of the Forest latest patch notes are more disturbing than I expected. So there's a game called Sons of the Forest. Omega, if you want to talk about this, you can. It's because this is maybe great.
I know, I'm into it. There's a survival game that just kind of, it's not like brand new, but it's in early access. It's called Sons of the Forest. It's a sequel to a game called The Forest. I'd never heard of it, but it popped up on Reddit, just this little screenshot of one of the patch notes. It didn't name the game. It didn't name anything. It was just a screenshot of one of the patch notes, which was, dead babies now have buoyancy.
Oh no. No.
So I dove into the comments to find what glorious game this is. And that's where I learned about Son of the Forest, sequel to The Forest, and it is a survival horror game. You're on an island, you chop down trees, you build bases, and you fight these zombie things? I don't think they're zombies. Weird mutant. I don't know. They're fucking looks great. And I was like, holy shit, this game is the kind of game that I feel like Doc and I could dump a ton of hours into if the net code is up to par. You know, Doc and I, you and I went hard on Stranded Deep, but that just couldn't handle what we like actual, like they added multiplayer after the fact. Now, the original Forest had multiplayer, so you got to think this game was made with multiplayer in mind from the start.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah.
Hopefully, their netcode will be strong, because like that's always been our complaint, Doc. We play these survival games. You and I love playing these builder survival, kind of games, open world sandboxy type things, and it almost invariably gets to a point where
we build systems that are too complicated. Yeah, and the game can't. We can't sync client side or whatever the fuck, and yeah, they eventually break. Happen in Space Engineers, happen in RimWorld, happen in Stranded Deep. It's happened in other stuff too.
Crashes or desync or whatever it is. So I'm hoping that this game will be better than that. And I'm hoping that this game will be built with that in mind from the beginning. And if it is, this looks like the kind of game that we could put some hours into. We could put some time into this shit.
Here's how I don't know if the person who wrote this article was the best person to write this article, because right off the bat, in agreement with what you just said, there's a note here. Quote, whether fictional or otherwise, people tend to take the idea of infant death quite seriously, and perhaps including such ideas alongside the ability to zoom around on a vehicle normally reserved for clowns isn't the wisest creative choice. End quote. My add to that is, or is it?
See, well, yes, but also they're going on about this electric unicycle. I mean, I don't know. Living in New York City, I see people rolling around on mono wheels all the fucking time.
Yeah, but are they made out of dead babies? That's where games like this can excel.
Yeah, okay. Now, if the electric unicycle is made of dead babies, now we're really getting somewhere.
We can't. There was an infographic made decades ago about a zombie apocalypse barge where you could use actual zombie corpses to compost and create biofuel. So in a survival simulation like this, where we know that there are dead babies, possibly a great number of them, can we use them as some type of fuel?
You know what a dead baby is? It's just protein.
Oh, no. Oh, Christ.
I was about to say, when are the dead baby jokes coming? Because I know they're here somewhere.
Listen, in a survival situation, a dead baby is as much a resource as any other inanimate object. If that dead baby can help you survive, then its death would not have been in vain.
What was the one dead baby joke the first dead baby joke I ever heard growing up? What is worse than 5 dead babies in 1 trash can? One dead baby in 5 trash cans. 5 trash cans.
Yeah.
So yeah, my wife does not like those type of jokes. And we played Cards Against Humanity, and we all know that dead baby jokes fly amazingly in Cards Against Humanity. And we were playing with my sister-in-law and brother-in-law. And my sister-in-law made a couple drinks for my wife, and the dead baby joke started flying, and I lost my shit.
Yup. Oh shit! I don't think I actually have it here.
We haven't played Cards Against Humanity since then, actually.
Which is a shame, because it's a great game.
It is a great game.
Cards Against Humanity is what gave us such gems as. The only thing worse than a dead baby is you must construct additional pylons.
I knew that was going to win.
Oh, shit. All right. Well, it's about that time. I have to join this episode together. We had half of it that was like 40 minutes, the other half that was 40 minutes. That was fucking weird. OBS has never crashed on me before, but it was the first time for everything. I just restarted my computer, too. I made everything fresh for the podcast.
Freshness.
So fresh and so clean?
Fresh tastes better.
Ain't nobody dope as we.
With Mentos, fresh and full of life. Mentos.
The Fresh Maker. By the way,
they're full of dead babies.
Not sponsored by Mentos or by dead babies, but if either of those things want to sponsor us, yeah, just send it to the PO box. We'd love a lot of either of those things.
2 things. Two things. One, Doc, you have to check Punhub because we do say "fuck Winnie the Pooh" at the end of this, and the patch that the Taiwanese pilots have on their flight suits is amazing. Two, I sent a video to Masami on TikTok, and it was this is what it feels like to chew 5 gum, and it is a video of a 152 millimeter howitzer shell tearing through a simulated body, and I have to find it and post it because it is glorious.
Yeah, I saw that.
The
Fucking turd.
explosion is great.
I love this picture. I love this fucking patch. I want one
Do
of these
you?
patches.
Don't you now? Don't you now? I love it.
This is fucking great.
Uh,
Way
I
to go,
just-
Taiwan.
It says we're open 24/7. Scramble.
Scramble. This is good. This is going in the same. I got a folder, but the folder for my China Taiwan memes. The best one in it so far before this was the map of the East Asia, basically, and it had Taiwan in one color, and then it had China in the same color, saying West Taiwan.
I think the best thing that I've ever seen that has come out of this whole China Taiwan situation was the interview that the lady was doing with the head of WHO during COVID, and she straight up asked him point blank, will the WHO recognize Taiwan as its own independent country? And he went, what? I don't think I heard the question correctly. We can just move on to the next question. And she goes, no, I'll re-ask. She goes, no, I'll re-ask the question, and went to ask it again, and he disconnected the call.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, that was great.
Such
like,
fucking
"Ooh."
cringe. All right, before Masami has turned into a pumpkin, yeah, penis. Thank you everybody for coming with us. Same time, same place next week. Penis. Fuck Pooh. Fuck Putin. Fuck Winnie the Pooh. Nice going, Taiwan. Nice patch.
Scramble.
Scramble.